just so you can have a bit of a just so you can have a bit of a view of what's going on. This is our kitchen. It's a little 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment. And so right here is where our sink is gonna go. This is where our dishwasher is gonna go, refrigerator. So we did not originally plan to have probably a full 36-inch refrigerator here with ice and water and all that. That's certainly not what's here before. We're renovating this apartment, bought new appliances, figured might as well make it super sweet and nice. So we did get a nice full-size refrigerator here. But that being said, we now have to run our water line for our water in our fridge and our ice all the way around back here. Now, if you're in a new house, a lot of times it's ran through the wall and there's actually a little shut off back here. In our case, we did re-drywall this. I guess I just didn't exactly know when we did the drywall, I didn't know exactly what my kitchen layout was gonna be, except for that I knew my sink had to be here because my drain comes out of the floor. So I did not plan ahead as far as running my line in the wall. So what I'm gonna have to do is we're gonna run it, can come behind the dishwasher here, that's no problem. We have a little cranny right here behind this cabinet. What I'm gonna end up doing, because for my dishwasher, or not my dishwasher, my ice supply line, I am gonna use this braided supply line. You don't wanna put this is not meant to be behind a wall. These do have to be replaced sometimes, they do fail. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run it all the way behind. I'm gonna drill through the back of my cabinet. Nice thing about drawers is they don't go all the way back. There's about this much room in the back of the drawer. So I'm gonna run it through the back and pop it out over here. It's not the perfect solution, but honestly, when you renovate old spaces and old houses, part of everything we do every day, it's just problem solving. So this is fine. This is great for a rental. This is my property. I'm not doing this for somebody else. This is totally acceptable. And at whatever point this needs to be replaced, it is gonna be accessible and we can pull it through the back of the cabinet. It's not gonna be in the wall because we didn't hard plumb a line in. So you can't put this in a wall. We don't wanna do that. Now, the next thing we ran into is these come, I think the longest ones I could find were 12 feet, but it kind of was like a weak little hose. I didn't like how weak it seemed. So I believe I have two 10-foot ones. I think they're just a little bit better quality than the 12-foot one I could find. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna piece these together. We are gonna start by just drilling a hole through the back of our cabinets where we have to, because we're gonna connect in here. I did a diverter off my cold water line. So one is gonna go to the refrigerator and one is gonna go up underneath the sink to the faucet. And so I'm gonna use, this is a Forstner bit. So see how this looks like this? There's different types of drill bits. Obviously you have drill bits like this, just a normal drill bit like you're used to. Then you have a drill bit like this, kind of like a spade bit. I don't know if that's what it's called. And then we have like this is a Forstner bit. This tends to be a little slower, I think. This always gives me a cleaner cut. So what I'm gonna do when I drill through my backs of my cabinets, which you'll probably never be able to see unless you're back there replacing the line, is we're gonna use a Forstner bit because this is going to give us a cleaner, it's not gonna chip out the paint, it's not gonna do as much damage when we drill. So I'm gonna use this. You wanna make sure that this is probably a little too big, but the only other one I have on site is a little too small. And I don't wanna stop what I'm doing and go buy another one. So I'm gonna use this one. You wanna make sure that it's big enough that your hose can fit through it and the piece on the end, which this absolutely is, because like I said, that's a little bit big. And then we're gonna have to put a coupling on this because I'm putting two of these hoses together. So let me just show you. This is how I'm gonna couple it. So this is a 1/4 inch, that's a 1/4 inch hose. This is a 1/4 inch coupling. And this comes, each side comes with all these extra pieces I don't need. This is how I found at my Home Depot. You might find another one. Literally, I only need this piece. I'm gonna connect on each side, but I had to buy this piece because that's all I could find in stock. So I'm going to drill my holes first. I always try to do the part that I dislike the most first, which to me is gonna be drilling the holes, because once we connect that, we're just bringing it through. So I'm gonna slide my fridge out. I'm gonna start there. I'm gonna reach in under my cabinets. Yeah, well, you'll see, we're gonna do it together. So I'm gonna pull my refrigerator out. Let's get back there. So you can kind of see like right here, let me just show you. This is how far my drawer goes back to here, and then I have this much room. So I wanna make sure I'm on this backmost part so I don't have my water line interfering with the drawers. But obviously we're gonna drill at the bottom because there's no point in having it all the way at the top. But just so you can kind of see for my spacing, that's how I'm getting it for how far back I'm gonna go. And so we're just gonna go ahead and do it as far back as we can, really. There's no reason to have it any bit further. So my body's in the way. Let me try to, so just go back bottom. So I, of course, have drilled into the back of the connection. All right, I make the mistake so you don't have to. Okay, so I should have at least measured. There's a little piece here that's the corner clamp that supports the base of this cabinet. I am hitting that and I'm actually too low. So I need to actually come up a little bit higher, about to right here. So fortunately this is gonna be hidden by the fridge, but maybe measure before you start. Okay, cool. That's what we want. So we learned a lesson. I learned it so you don't have to. Let's move on. All right. The least fun part of this is probably gonna be, so I gotta get inside the back of this drawer, but I think I'm gonna do it from the inside of this cabinet just because I think that's gonna be easier, and then I'm gonna have to drill through both. So I am gonna go back there and drill through, and I'm just gonna have the double pieces to drill through. I just gotta make sure I go up high enough so I don't run into something like I did before. So you probably are not gonna be able to see what I'm doing here very well, but that's what I'm gonna be doing. Okay, now pretty much we've drilled through there. Now where the camera is, we gotta drill that way so we can get through that wall. So back there behind the drawer mechanism, it goes to the back. It's mounted on the back of the cabinet, but it only goes so far back. There's a couple inches at the back of space. So it's gonna go through there, not interfere with the drawer. Go through there, come out here, and then we gotta drill one more hole there, and then we only have to drill in the base cabinet for our sink. So we're gonna go ahead and drill this hole, and then only got one more. Now our last hole to cut is gonna be inside of our not our vanity, under the sink cabinet. I'm gonna cut from the inside out because the only part of this you're gonna be able to see, well, if you're in the cabinet, is the inside of the cabinet. The outside of the cabinet is gonna be, right next to the dishwasher. So I'm gonna cut or drill from the inside so I can get it exactly where I want it. And I have the sharp blades on the inside going out, so I'm not gonna split my cut. So I think for me, it's probably gonna just be easiest if this is as close to the back as possible, because I don't want this to interfere with when we push the dishwasher back. So we're gonna end up having holes in this because the dishwasher drain and the dishwasher supply line are gonna have to go through. So we'll have other holes for that, but this is completely separate. So I'm just trying to keep it as out of the way as possible. And so I'm probably just gonna go ahead and put this like right here. These are kind of in my way. These are not placed great. So we'll just kind of put that right there. Okay, there we go. So now we're gonna clean up all this mess, and we can then go ahead and connect our line and get it ran through there and get some ice going. Now we're gonna connect our hoses together. Now look in there, see how I got the black gasket on all the ends of this. I love thread sealant, I love thread tape. I usually use thread tape with thread sealant. However, I have had many people tell me that if you have that black gasket in there, you should not have to use either. So we're gonna try it out. I've always used it and it's been fine. So, okay, we're gonna tighten our little coupling on there. On one, I'm gonna hand tighten it, and then I'm just gonna go a little bit beyond hand tight. We don't wanna crush that little black cup or that little black gasket in there. So we're just gonna go a little bit tighter. Be careful when you tighten this that you're grabbing the actual flat edges and you're not grabbing your threads and damaging your threads. I'm connecting these together before I fish it through because I don't want to have to reach into the back of one of these cabinets to connect these two lines. So we're just gonna go ahead and put them together first. Geez Louise. Okay. Same thing, we're gonna hand tighten and then we're gonna go the rest of the way. Now I think those are nice and snug, but this is your weak point, okay? So it's gonna connect under your sink, it's gonna connect to the back of your fridge, and then here, those are the points it's gonna leak unless you like poke a hole in this. So that's where you need to check once you install it, and periodically probably wanna check. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm going to fish this. You're gonna start in the hole we made in the back of our cabinet, and we're just gonna weave it through here. A little non-conventional, but guys, sometimes you just gotta get creative. And then there we go. Making sure we leave enough to be able to pull our fridge out and then enough over there to connect to our supply line. Oh, we got plenty. Now we're gonna go ahead and attach this to the back of our fridge and attach the other end to our supply line under the sink. And since we are at the fridge, let's just do this one. I'll go get a channel lock and a crescent wrench. We are at the back of our refrigerator. This is where we're gonna connect our water supply line. This came brand new, it has a little cover on it to protect it. That's good because then that doesn't get messed up when they bring it in. Now we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna supply our water onto here. Got it hand tight, and then we're just gonna go ahead and tighten a little bit with our, I wonder if our channel lock will be easier. I thought that was a spider out of the corner of my eye. This little thing rolled under my leg and I freaked out. Okay, so we're pretty snug on there. I'm good with that. Now we're gonna go over to the sink. All right, so here's our kind of jankety setup, but here's what we got. This is where we're going to go off for our refrigerator, and this is gonna go for our supply line. So today, I'm just connecting the refrigerator. Easy peasy, I'm just gonna tighten that like we did on the other part. Okay, moment of truth. Let's turn it on and see if we have any leaks anywhere. So again, we have our weak spots. Our weak spot is here, our weak spot is at the fridge, and then our connection piece. So we wanna make sure we don't have anything dripping there, and we'll let it run for a while and check it. So far we got nothing there, feeling good about that. Got our little connection piece right there, feeling good. Got our inlet right there, feeling good. Let's get the ice maker on. You know what's cool? Is an ice maker. Ice maker, hold 3 seconds. Cool. So hopefully that can start making some ice for us. Oh, we can test the water function. Let me go dump this cup out. Gonna flush it out for a while, get that water running through there. I want to flush out the system. We'll see that from the factory. That's why you flush it out. Okay, we're gonna go do this again. Looking better already. There we go. I'm gonna go check my connections one more time. I'm just gonna tape up my extra slack of supply line behind the fridge, because that way when we can pull it out, but it's not getting in our way when it's up against the wall. Cool, so we have our line ran through like we talked about. It's going out this cabinet, back behind here. We have enough slack where we can push that back out of our way for our disposal or for our dishwasher. And it's pretty far against the back of the cabinet. Go around the blind spot, go around the back of there, behind the drawer, it's not gonna interfere there. And now we have water and ice with a creative solution. So that worked. Again, sometimes you when you're retrofitting an old house, you just gotta kind of be a little bit creative. So we made it work. Thanks for joining me, hanging out with me on this one. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe, and I would love to see you on the next one. See you later.